And welcome to the LoreWars preview stream and podcast. My name is Douglas Carlson. I am your host and dungeon master, and with me is Maddie.
That's me.
Sean.
Boy, howdy.
And Ricky. Did I get a hello from Ricky?
Oh, can you guys not hear me that well?
I can
No,
now.
you're good.
Yeah.
When you said that, we did.
Alright, I'll try to speak up more. I'm sorry.
You're good.
He absolutely is not good. Don't tell him that.
We all know he's a terrible human being. I don't know.
So.
After what he did to my mother?
Oh, jeez.
Oof.
Ricky.
Hey. All's fair in love and war.
So our last episode was a solo episode between Sean and I where we discussed Oros' backstory and did a little
I'm a sad boy.
did a little time lapse to kind of discuss the feelings and emotions behind Oros.
And then it was Christmas.
And then it was Christmas, yeah. So if you listen to the last episode, I planned on releasing that the day after Christmas, and then doing another episode that week and releasing it that week. Unfortunately, with the holidays and everyone's plans got messed up, so I released that one that week, and we gave our lovely voice actors here the week of Christmas off, and now we are back to
Awful Megalol.
and now we're back to continue our story. Yeah, so everyone had a good New Year's and holidays, hopefully. Today, actually, what's pretty exciting is I am waiting. I'm literally been updating my email like every 5 minutes because the hard copy book of LoreWars is en route to my house right now, which I'm very excited. And as soon as I get that, I will tweet pictures, but it should be here tonight. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Also, I touched base on a little bit on the last episode, but I've been playing LoreWars in person with some new friends who've never played any tabletop RPG before, and they're having a blast. We do 6-hour sessions every weekend, which is a lot of fun. And then just recently, I ran into some new tabletop RPG players, and they want to start up a Call of Cthulhu game, which I've never played. And for Christmas, I got an Amazon card, so I went on to Amazon, bought the starter kit, and that should be coming in 2 days. I'm very excited to play that. I listened to Cthulhu and Friends, a real play podcast of it, so I kind of know how it's played, but I'm very excited to give that a try.
Well, with stuff like that, you really don't know until you play what
right.
Exactly it's all
well, yeah, it's much slower pace. It's more of a mystery and kind of a horror mystery game. And there's not really combat or anything like that, or leveling things. From what I gather, it's just mostly your friends are in a horror situation and you got to figure out the mystery, and that's real rad. I'm all about it.
That sounds real fun, but I have not the patience or attention span.
See, yeah, that's the thing, is my friends that play LoreWars in person, we all goof off, we have a few beers, and we have a good time. And But one of them, or two of them, are like, well, I wish we could play a more serious version. I'm like, well, we're all a bunch of friends just having a good time, and so this is our chance of like playing something a little more serious, where you have to take like diligent notes and try and figure out the mysteries while before getting killed or whatever. I'm pretty excited to give it a try. But like the classes seem different.
It's stupid, and I could never do it.
The classes seem different. It's like you pick like photographer or like leader where you can talk to people better or stuff like that rather than like using a sword or magic or whatever. Is from what I've gathered at least. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. We'll see in 2 days when I can dive into the guidebook that they send me from the starter kit. But yeah, that's how I've been going. How was your guys' holidays and New Year's? What Maddie, what do you do for New Year's?
I went to my friend's house. She had a party. I kissed someone at midnight, which was super cool. I didn't get blasted,
Good.
and it was
That's good
one of
stuff.
the most enjoyable New Year's Eves I've ever had. So I think this not drinking thing, I'm gonna give it a try.
I actually did not get blasted at the party that I went to, so I was like bartending in the party, and I had like 2 or 3 beers and a few cocktails, and I was sober, like I sobered up enough to be able to drive everyone home. Once I got home is where we were like, all right, shots, because everyone's home safe and sound, and that's when things got bad.
No, I did shots Christmas Eve.
There you
It
go.
was bad.
Yep. Nope.
Sean, how are your last week go?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I also got lots and lots of random ass tabletop role playing things.
Nice.
My girlfriend bought me the Acquisitions Incorporated adventure for
Nice,
D&D,
nice.
and my sister got me Mordecai's Guide to Monsters.
Very neat. That's
Specifically because she wants to play a Kenku Bard, which is, I think, the most ironic, silly thing I've ever heard in my life.
They can't talk.
yeah.
Yeah. They can only mimic sounds that other people make. So, yeah, it's
That's really funny.
interesting, to say the least,
And then
as a character idea.
Ricky, how was your week?
Eventful.
Eventful.
I built a new commander deck, which I was stoked about.
Nice, nice.
I got way too drunk New Year's Eve, New Year's. I was like halfway. It's kind of like your situation where it was like I was serving people at a party, like I was bartending. I was like quote unquote bartending. I was making people cocktails, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not drunk enough, so I was like, hey, let's just take copious shots of moonshine.
Right.
That was a bad idea.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, I witnessed New Year's Eve the funnest game of Drunken Risk. I wish I could have partaken in. Because one of the rules is you had to role play as your commanding officer of your army, and that was the funnest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I wish I could
Does
have
sound mad
partaken.
fun.
That's good
What?
stuff.
That does sound mad fun.
Oh yeah, like at one point one of the guys who was like the Russian army or whatever, but I guess no one knows he's like from Ukraine, so he spoke Russian. He like jumped up on the table and is drunkenly like rattling off in Russian,
That's
and they were
funny.
all like,
That's dope.
it was great.
So yeah, to touch in a little bit on LoreWars, to bring it in a little bit is the music that I start my episodes with is done by Gabe Berkby. I've posted some things about him in the descriptions. I'll maybe tweet something out later today about him. But have you guys seen the new Witcher show? Anybody?
Yeah.
So you know,
I mean,
I
it's-
don't have the attention span for TV, my friend.
do you know the song "Toss a Coin to the Witcher"? Like it's a really big song right now. It's blowing up on the internet.
I think I heard it in a YouTube animation.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's blowing up right now. And so him and I were talking, and we're in the kind of midst of writing a bardic song for your guys' adventure. So that's kind of something behind the scenes. Hopefully we can get done relatively soon. But yeah, let's dive into it, and I can talk more because I'm sure we've wasted enough time. So previously on our adventures, excluding Oros's backstory and excluding our talk with the devs night, we had 3 adventurers who wound up in Virgin City, which is the capital of Eldrex, a small self-governing country run by a monarch. and a fair queen who has the good intention of the country from what everyone can see. And they, for one reason or another, each wanted to find kind of knighthood in a famous group of knights known as the Wolf Knights. And these guys are quite known throughout the land of being one of the strongest military forces since the divide of the Rye Empire. And so our adventures got into some boiling water with fighting some goblins, trying to save this young girl who unfortunately was ravaged by the goblins and didn't make it. And then they got themselves in another fight with goblins, but with a big fogey, which is like a frog-like dragon, who very quickly overpowered the party. But they were saved by the general of the Wolf Knights, who's ironically named General Wolf. He saw how they were handling themselves, however, against this dragon, and offered them a chance at becoming a Wolf Knight, which they all, of course, accepted, being that it was their goal from the beginning of the story. So through that, they went through 3 weeks of training with Raven, their instructor. And at the end of the 3 weeks, they had to take a test on the rules of Eldrax, like the laws, and they all passed. And then they, Abraham, a kind dispatch scribe who they've met many times, gave them a quest, and on completing this quest, they will graduate and be knighted into full-blown Wolf Knights. Also, I should note that a demonkin who works for the Wolf Knights gave them each wolf tattoos that allow them to use some kind of astral spirit power that they each were given. We have all three players who each are level 2 right now. We have a Siri, which is like a moth fairy named Miss Dewdrop. We have a steam mech wizard named Oros, and then we have a Voidwalker Shadowbender, I believe, assassin-esque guy named Ram. The 3 of them just accepted their quests. They got their scroll, they opened it up, they were reading about it, and what's crazy is that their quest is to find this missing man. His name is Graham Sartik, and upon reading this, you immediately recognize his name as the father of the little girl you guys attempted to save just about a month ago, and who unfortunately lost her life. And so the recommendation from Abraham was to go to the Undying Court chapel, because they held the funeral for the little girl, so they might have some information on Graham Sartik. And that is where we last left off. I did want to touch on one thing before we start role-playing, and that's, I don't think I've gotten each of your religions, and that would be kind of interesting to discuss really quick. So, Mr. Oros, what is, who do you worship?
The Chained God.
The Chained God, yes. A hero, a singularity, once one of the most powerful people in the lands, who was had an idea to go slay the devil, the cast out angel Voss, and the god of war didn't like that idea, so he chained him down away in a seal, and he's been gaining power ever since into a deity. I believe he is a good god, if I remember correctly. Good or neutral?
Indeed.
Okay. Ram, who do you worship?
The Valkyrie god.
The Valray, right? The god of war. So literally the guy who locked up the chain god. Miss Dewdrop, who do you worship?
Aragla? Alright, the fairy one, the fairy god.
Oh, yeah, Araletta, the goddess of labyrinths, who is a fairy goddess. Yeah, labyrinths, you'll see eventually in the story, are like the late game raid. But you'll be like 15.
Yeah, I hopped into our friend Josh's campaign late, and they were just finished doing a labyrinth, so I thought they were far more common than they were.
No, you'll get like usually one in a campaign, and they're very difficult, but the rewards are what set you up for the end game of the campaign.
Unless you just, waste yours
Yeah.
on a companion that dies.
Yeah, it didn't die. Shut up. at the end of a labyrinth, if you a genie so labyrinths are like created by Arletta, the goddess, and they're housed with genies who kind of run each labyrinth, and they pop up throughout the world. If you beat the labyrinth, if you complete each floor of it, you are given really a wishing stone, which you can pretty much wish for anything with, and really powerful djinn weapons. And with my wishing stone, I wanted to bring a mimic from the labyrinth out into the real world and be my best friend, and that's what I did. And now I have.
Yeah, everyone else in our party was like, I'd like to be practically unkillable.
Nope,
like
I just
Zach,
wanted a
or
pet
I would like
mimic.
to save someone like Gabby. No. Doug was like, I want this fucking thing to be my companion forever.
Yeah, that's what I did. So let's bring it into the world. So are you guys gonna head over to the chapel?
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty, the players approach the Temple of the Divine Heavens. It is directly in the middle of the city with a golden angel statue blooming from the peak of the building. They enter and see a large stone soul in a white and gold robe sweeping the stone tiles. He greets the party and asks what they need.
Well, okay, what was the name of the person we were sent here to talk to again?
Graham Sartik, and his daughter was Lynn Sartik.
We were just supposed to go to the temple and ask about him?
Yeah,
like, in
because
general?
he was the one that did. This chapel is the one that performed the funeral for the little girl, so they might have some.
Right. Information about where he went.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to find some information on Graham's. What was his name? Sartik?
Yes. He walks up and says, Mr. Sartik was quite devastated from the funeral. Burying a 7-year-old daughter is not the most easy thing to do for a single father. So from what our my chapelman have seen, he's been spending a lot of time at the Heart of the Flogan Inn, drinking his sorrows away. If you go there, you might be able to help him out. Do try and help him. If you need some kind of intervention from the church, we are always here to be able to help you.
Sounds like a plan. Peace. And
just out.
See ya.
Thank you for your help.
Of course. May the angels be with you. And he dismisses you. Do you head down to the Heart of the Flogan Inn?
Is this a point and click adventure now? Yes.
Yeah.
I click yes.
Yes. This is. It's funny you mentioned that. I've been playing, because of the Witcher show, I picked up the RPG, and I friggin' love it. The dialogue boxes are my favorite part of the entire game.
Listen, we spent nearly half an hour not on topic. We need to
Back on
get
topic.
DM, who's supposed to corral us?
It's been like 2 weeks, man. I have so much to talk about. Anyways, the party decides to go to the tavern known as the Heart of the Flogan. You guys were here when you started your adventure. Upon entering, you see 4 people playing coin cup at a table to the left. You see 2 burly pure beings arm wrestling to the right. And then you see the same old Baron barkeep that you remember from the last time you were here. There are 4 people sitting at the bar, and there are 2 barmaids walking around. You can interact as you please. Yeah, uh-huh.
Sorry, I thought I heard something in my house, which is weird.
It was me, I'm sorry.
I'm here alone.
Nope, I told you it was me, I'm sorry.
Shit. Oops. So yeah, I walk up to the barkeep, and they're like, yeah, so I forgot his name again already because I'm awesome at this.
Ram.
Who? The guy you're looking for? Graham.
Yeah.
Graham Sartik.
It's like, hey, you know this Graham Sartik guy?
You
know, he gave us a job. We kind of fucked it up real bad.
Weren't you guys?
I'd like to point out that we didn't fuck up anything.
You dropped a child.
I nearly dropped a child. It's not the same thing.
He looks you up and down. He says, "Weren't you guys in here a few weeks back causing
You
trouble?"
must be ill remembering. We were not here at any point, actually. We're very new. Yeah, to the Wolf Knights.
Alright. He says, it's been really busy the last 2 weeks. We've had an increasing number of ships at the dock because of, the city growth, etc. I can't really pick out a Graham Sartic. I know he sells pumpkins down the road, but I couldn't remember when the last time he was in here. Sorry.
Look, he. How long has it been? Like 3 weeks or so?
The last time you were in here was about a month ago, because
Okay.
you had like about a week of going to fight the goblins and then 3 weeks of training.
This man can't remember us. Wait, this man can't remember this guy who he like lives in close proximity to, but he can remember 3 strangers that came in months ago.
But if you remember, you started a problem. Well, you didn't start a problem. Graham ran in and started a whole fiasco, and you guys said you'd go help him. So it was like an ordeal. It was like something he would remember.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
If, by chance, we were in here a few weeks ago,
Hmm.
there was a guy, or there might have been a guy, who came in here real upset. Like, going crazy. Said his daughter had been taken.
Oh yeah,
So,
I'm not.
there was
I'm not saying I don't know Graham. Graham comes in here quite often. I'm just telling you I don't know the last time he was in here.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, fine.
The 4 patrons at the bar are described as the following. There is a red-feathered baron who is sitting right kind of next to you because you're talking to the barkeep. There is Eldon, a human who looks like a hunter, has a bow on their back, green kind of clothes that are kind of dirty. There is a...
I talked to the pretty lady. No, I actually don't. Never mind.
There is an earthen genesis, so kind of like a little rock golem type female who is sitting down. And
Can we recruit NPCs into our party or no?
absolutely.
All right.
And then there is a human who is sitting next to him too, and he looks the barkeep kind of leans into you guys and says, "Now, if you're looking for somebody in the Sartic family, you might want to go talk to John." And points over to the young human man, and he says, "John has always had a thing for Graham's niece, so you might want to go talk to him." And then he kind of gives you a nod and starts like washing out one of the tankards or something, busy work that a bartender would do.
Yeah, I'm like, well, son of a bitch. Okay, guess we go talk to that guy.
So yeah, you head over and to the human, or are you just addressing him? What are you doing?
I'm like, I'm done taking the lead on this shit. One of you can talk to him.
I'm willing to ask the barkeep for an ale of some sort. I'll bring it over to the man and hand it to him.
Yeah, he pours you some red ale out of a large barrel on the wall and hands over a tankard. He says, "Oh, that'll be 1 gold."
Oh, gold.
You
should have gold, yeah, from the previous parties.
Yeah,
got
yeah. I'll hand
200
him
at
gold.
least from the thing with the Wolf Knight.
And then
hand him a gold.
he goes back to doing what he's doing.
I'll head over to John. You said his name was?
Yep.
Over to John. Put the ale in the table. We'll slide it over to him, and I'll say, "This is for you, sir."
He says, "Well, thank you. What do I know you?"
You do not know us, and I guess we don't really know you that well either. But we do have a few questions we're trying to get answers for.
Yeah. What can I do for you?
We're looking for information on the Sarda family.
Yeah. You're looking for like John Sartic or his niece and kind of gives a snicker, a little smile.
Sure.
He just mutters under, or else just goes, fuck, douchebag, under his breath.
He says,
I nudge him.
he says, well,
That's fucking true.
I know a ton of things about them. You know, I help Graham out in the pumpkin fields once in a while. And, you know, hopefully one day, his niece Alexandria and I will be wed soon.
Well, that's all interesting and such, but this Graham fellow you speak of, what's he been up to recently?
It's been hard for him with the loss of his daughter Lynn. He's been in here quite a bit actually, and truth be told, I haven't been able to help him with the pumpkin field recently because of the goblin attacks out there. He was looking to sell the land, I believe, to a gentleman actually. I think just yesterday night he was talking to some shady out-of-towner guy about selling the land.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "What? Why? What is there? Is there a problem?"
There
Well,
might be.
it appears as if your friend has gone missing.
He kind of takes a huge look at you and he's like, "What do you mean missing?" And then he takes a look down and he sees that your guys are wearing your tunics from training, like as showing your recruits of the Wolf Knights. He says, "Wait, are you guys looking for him? Is he in trouble?"
He might be.
Sir, that is exactly the heart of our dilemma and what we are trying to find out.
You see, he is missing, and by missing, no one can find him. So we are looking.
He takes a huge gulp of his beer that you gave him, and he says, "Well, clearly the goblins have taken him from the pumpkin fields."
You seem very sure about that.
Yeah, he says, "Well, what other solution would you have? The goblins killed his daughter, so he probably went out there to get revenge, or maybe to do some landscaping before he sells the land. Either way, the goblins must have attacked himself."
I didn't realize you were a wolf knight, sir.
It's
How perceptive you are, but you did say he was talking to a shady stranger.
Okay. You said you helped him tend to the fields, right?
Oh yes.
You so boldly assumed that he's out there. Why don't you show us? Because you tend to know the fields better than we do, and if he was out there, I feel like you would know where he is better than we would.
I absolutely plan on doing that. Let me run home. I will grab my sword, and then we will head out to the pumpkin fields.
Let's escort you home.
He finishes off the ale and starts heading for the door. Are we following?
We did say we would escort him home.
He takes you down. It's only a few minutes away around the corner or so, but not quite on the waterfront property. It looks a little run down, but you find he kind of walks up to this little house, walks inside, and after a few minutes he comes back out. He has he was just wearing normal brown leathery trousers and a white kind of the classic shirt with the V and the string before, but now he has these leather pauldrons on and a short sword on his hip. And
dressed up.
Oh yeah, he's ready. And he has a little buckler shield on his back. And he says, "All right, let's head out to the fields then." And starts rushing north to the field. I believe they were north to the fields.
I lean over to Orza?
Oros.
No, Oros. He seems in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah, seems kind of odd. We should probably just keep a close eye on him.
Am I part of this conversation or no?
Yeah.
You
Oh
can't
no,
be
that's true. He leaned in. That's up to you. Do you hear this?
I am very perceptive.
Okay.
Decided.
You've decided right now.
I lean in and go, "Well, I think he is suspicious. His crushes, I don't know. The girl he's hoping to get his I can't say that.
Yeah, whoa. I was about to say slow your roll.
It broke up for me, so it might not have gone through there. I don't know.
The girl he hopes to wed.
The girl he
Perfect.
hoped to wed. Her uncle just went missing. We mustn't be overly suspicious. He could be worried. I can't really roleplay because I'm sick. Sorry, guys.
You're fine. He see, you guys you're following him out to the pumpkin fields, and you guys get out there and you look around. You find he goes to like the barn. There's a small barn, and he looks through there. He finds out front. He seems pretty perceptive, of almost like maybe he's a hunter by trade or something when he's not helping, or at least that he's been on this field a few times, like he said. And he sees track marks in front of the barn that he says, these kind of look like a wagon. And he's like, but which is weird because the wagon is still outside of Mr. Sartik's house when I walked by this morning. And he said, so I don't think it would be his wagon, and it looks much bigger than his little pumpkin wheelbarrow. And so he starts following these tracks that lead to the edge of the woods, which is the same direction you guys fought the goblins in. And he says, well, we have to go through the woods, obviously, and follow these tracks, and starts heading into the woods. Are we
tell him to stop, slow down.
He stops, he looks back, and he's like, if Graham is in trouble, he's like, I can save him. Alexandria will be overwhelmed with joy, and we can finally be together. He says,
but if you haste and rush into something and get yourself killed, you can't marry anyone, can you?
I doubt your beloved would want a corpse as a husband.
He says, well, I have 3 wolf knights with me. We'll be fine. And starts trekking into the woods again.
Jesus Christ. These woods have given us 3 different troubles. I follow him in.
After
over the river and through the woods.
After about an hour, a big bad wolf appeared. No, after about an hour, you guys come to this large hill with an old stone brick case that leads up, and then you see kind of like a little makeshift bridge across like a big gulp, like a big peaked area, and then on the other side of the bridge you see a large mansion, but it's hard to make out the details and like what it exactly looks like from where you are standing, but you can tell like it's a big structure of some sort. And he looks up and he says, the wheelbarrow stops about here. I don't see any more tracks. They must be up in that building, and starts heading up the stairs, waving you guys to follow him.
We need to stop, friend. That is someone's home.
He gets like about halfway up the staircase and looks back at you. He's like, yeah, and they might have Graham, or maybe he's just up here perfectly fine. Wouldn't you rather know?
I would like grab his arm to get very close to my friend Oros and tell him that I share his suspicions, because this is shady as all heck.
Good save.
Shady as heck.
Shady
as heck confirmed, says Oros.
Double hockey sticks.
You walk up and grab his arm?
I'm gonna grab his arm and stop him from trucking ahead.
He says, what is your problem? He's like, we have a missing man. Aren't you supposed to find him? Isn't that literally your job?
We're doing our job, but there is a due process of law that we must follow. So we're not gonna go bust down this person's door looking for this guy.
Yeah, so there's a thing here called Once Upon a Time. If we just decided to bust down every single door that we wanted to bust down, we'd end up in a lot of trouble. Capiche?
He says, listen, do you look around? Do you see any other structures around here? We're an hour away from the city. He's like, this isn't part of the city property. For all we know, there could be goblins up here torturing him right now, just like they were with Lynn.
Sir, I understand your concern, but you can't just run up on every single house you see in the woods. Werewolf Knights, let us handle this.
He
You
says,
can't tell us to look around. We haven't had time to look because you've been bolting ahead.
I'm going to roll a physical action right now
Go
to
against him,
I
or
don't like that.
to decide what our little man is gonna do. He tries to yank free of your arm, but you have a solid grip on it. He says, he gets all flushed. He's like, "Fine. What do you propose we do?"
investigate what we do know.
He says, "What I do know is that Graham was talking to somebody weird, and that his daughter got attacked by goblins, and that the field is known for having goblins in it. So goblins are
In my experience with goblins, they don't build gigantic mansions in the forest. They mostly just, sit around campfires and do nothing. So I don't.
That is a fair point. Goblins, not exactly the smartest chips off the old block,
He's like, well, maybe not build, but perhaps live in if it's abandoned. We have no idea if there's even anybody up there.
That's the problem. We have no idea about what this house is or who could be in it, so we need not to rush into danger blindly, because it might end up getting him hurt worse.
The least we could do is go knock on the door. Right?
We must take our time to survey the area and then decide the next right course of action.
Can you roll me a negotiation action?
That's 20?
Everything's a D20, but it'll be like a 1 through. You fucking nailed it. He's like, fine, and he kind of loosens up from trying to yank free of Ram's grip, and says, "What do you want to do then? Look around the mount? Like, what are we gonna walk around this big hill? What do you want?"
What I do is call to the Magical Sky DM and say I would like to roll a. I'd like to look at the area and see.
Investigation action. Yeah.
Investigation action.
We'll also investigate. I want to investigate the tracks that just suddenly stopped and stuff like that.
I got a 7.
Maddie, after looking around a little bit, you see in the brush nearby a cart that is tipped over on its side, and it looks like it's tried to been like hidden.
All right, we have a hidden cart. Look.
Ricky, you look around, and you don't see the tracks any further. You don't even you're just you're kind of confused of why, how whatever they had in the cart, they stopped here and carried them up these huge flight of stairs and then over the little rope bridge to the house.
Okay.
Is what you're kind of focused on, is like how and why.
Okay, gotcha.
What are we doing with this cart?
Can I investigate the cart? Is there anything
Yeah.
particularly?
Yeah, roll an investigation action for me.
Nope.
You
It's a cart.
yeah, you that's a nice
It
cart.
is, in fact, a cart.
You're like, wow, that's well crafted. That's a well crafted cart.
How
got
useful
good bones,
you
you know?
prove yourself to be again.
He says, "Is that not enough proof to go look at this?"
It might be.
He's like, why would a cart go from Sartik's farm to here and then be hidden in the brushes?
Okay, fair. I just I'm fucking done waiting, and I go and I run up to the door, and I just
Oh, wonderful! Sergeant Dumbass makes his return.
hey, anybody in here?
Graham, or not Graham, I'm sorry. John starts kind of following up behind you. Are you knocking on the door, Oros?
I'm just yelling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just, hey.
Can you roll me an investigation?
Here we go again. Son of a bitch. No, wait. I have a bonus. I have a 1 bonus, so that means that's a success.
Nice. you notice strangely that the house does look abandoned. It's a big 2-story mansion like esque building, but it does look abandoned as if it was used, a few years ago. But you don't see any kind of wear like clean. There's vines kind of growing up the side. The stones are like covered in mud and stuff. There's like a broken window. It doesn't look like it's been being used, at least by like somebody keeping up on it.
Right.
Are you two following these two?
I suppose so.
Guess we have no other option. Yeah.
So they
If I can't turn around and go home now, I suppose the only way through is forward.
Ram and Do kind of lazily follow up, kind of like, God damn it.
This fucking drunk ass robot again.
He says, John kind of draws, or like half draws his sword on his hip and creaks open the door. Or he like tricks the handle and it's not locked at all, and creaks open the door. And he just says, I can hold my own, so don't get in my way. And
I'm sure you can. I just pat him on the shoulder.
he steps inside. Are you all following?
Yeah, do we
Okay.
have an option?
You just leave him. I mean, you could just.
Can I be in stealth though, or can I attempt to be in stealth?
Yeah, roll me a stealth action. You are hidden. You are very well hidden.
Sweet.
So yeah, you guys step into a large stone room with 2 grand staircases, one on either side of the room, heading up to a raised balcony with 2 wooden doors that are like French door style. Below the balcony is another 2 doors that almost mirror the ones above it. There is a red carpet that stretches from the entrance to the wooden doors on the first story. The carpet is worn and dingy, as if it has a lot of traffic over the years but hasn't been cleaned. There are multiple mirrors on the wall of the room, or on the walls of the room, and in the center of the room is a large flat object covered by a cloth tarp.
It's like, oh, that's not ominous.
John walks forward, saying, "Be careful, there's somebody definitely in this place." And he
I'm
points.
the one who needs to be.
He points over to the mirrors and he says, "The mirrors have no dust on them, so they've been cleaned recently, but nothing else." And he gets over to the cloaked object. And do you guys want to do anything before I continue? Because I just kind of I just gave you a huge description, so I just want to give you an opportunity before I continue my little blurb.
Yeah, can we, like... I guess I'm good at the moment.
Sure. So he gets over to the large cloaked object, and he pulls the sheet off, revealing, and he's doing this with like his sword half drawn, ready for action. He pulls the sheet off with his free hand, revealing a huge decorated mirror, at least 3 times bigger than himself. He then puts his hand on the mirror and says, Are you all right? Do you need help, little girl?" And suddenly the sound of knives stroking through him as you see 4 dagger-like claws penetrate through the back of his body. And the tips are visible from the other side. As they retract, blood pours out of the wounds, and John falls to his knees. Then,
Oh, not again.
Then-
Oh, not again.
then,
Oh, would you look at that? This dude isn't in on it.
then to the ground, his hand sliding across the mirror, revealing a devilish monster girl in the mirror.
And that's why we always check the area before we enter.
So,
This is why we don't rush into things.
so we're
I
gonna.
like we're giving this guy a lecture as he dies.
So you guys
You shouldn't have done that.
can slide over to Roll20. I have a map here.
Yo.
I have a wonderful picture of Juan, I think her name is, from The Grudge. She's gonna be there, our lovely lady in the mirror.
Perfect.
And then I am going to scroll down to combats because I'm not using my TV today, unfortunately. So I just gotta find this combat real quick. If you do notice here, however, on my computer screen,
Screen of compute.
yeah, I do have a picture of this, some official LoreWars art. I probably could have used this. I didn't think about that for the icon of that person. Where am I? Ring of Worlds. All right, here we go. So I'm bringing that up right now for anyone who's in the stream or going to watch the YouTube video. This is the official art, LoreWars art for this monster. That we will learn more about. I will drop this in the Discord real quick for you guys to see because the art is flippin' amazing. LoreWars art, Ring of Worlds, there you are. Pop that up in there for you guys.
Ooh,
Oof.
freaky looking.
Dad.
She has an arm for a leg.
So yeah, you guys see this girl who just kind of gives you a huge grin, revealing a bunch of teeth. Her fingers are long with huge dagger-like claws, and she starts like pressing through the mirror, almost like it's a body of like the surface of a body of water rippling as she reaches through into your guys's into like the real world. And yeah, that's we're at the start of combat.
How dead does that guy look?
Yeah, he got.
I would imagine real dead.
Savable? Like, is he savable? Like, or is this guy just like kaput? Like, he was useless the whole time.
That is something you can determine if you want. If I can have,
Roll for it, coward.
if I want some braveries real quick, just so I can get the combat order up and ready.
I am last. My bravery is not good.
Let me get this.
Do we get to roll for bravery?
Nope,
oh,
it's
wait,
on the top of your character sheet, or near the top.
13.
My bravery's 7, so.
13.
My bravery is 18. I'm a brave boy. I'm made of metal. It's fine.
I am
I
3
do.
foot tall and fluffy. I have a right not to be brave.
This is 17, and then do is what do you say 11? Oros, it is your turn first, my man.
Well, I'm gonna go, fuck that, and try to vector arrow this bitch.
Okay. You don't remember you're not a level 3 anymore, or whatever you were
Yep,
for your.
vector
Okay.
arrow's level 2.
All right. I just want to make sure you.
Yeah, the specialized vector arrow stuff is higher level. Like yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Good night, sweet prince.
So that was your minor. Or like you failed.
No, vector arrows.
But
Vector arrows a major.
a failed major action can count as a minor action,
Oh, cool.
as long as
Good
it's
to
not
know.
like your weapon
Well,
missing.
in that case, I'm just gonna try to punch her in the face with my cosmic markings,
There you go.
and I'll miss.
Awesome.
damn it.
You are
There's one in my room.
you are
Hi, friend.
terrified of this creature, and therefore you're messing up your magic pretty badly.
Yep, it
Um,
ain't great.
Ram,
I'll give you
your
that.
turn. Your turn, sir.
Alright, well, first I'd like to see if this guy is.
Yeah, roll an investigation action. Or knowledge. I'll take either.
Let's
You
do investigation because I have a +1 to that at least.
you notice that he has lost a ton of blood. Like he pretty much received 5 daggers that completely pierced his body. They're her claws, obviously, but essentially he has 5 huge, completely through wounds. And that's kind of it's obvious, but that's what you notice.
being stealth, do I get any like advantage to hit or anything like that? Like, how does that work in this?
There are advantages to. I mean, so if you stealthily attack, the mob monster will get a defensive action, um, as well as like there are attacks and spells and stuff that have bonuses if you come out of stealth when doing them.
Alright, I'm gonna stealthily.
Yeet himself in
And
that
I'll-
general direction.
To make this map clear, I don't know if it is. The red lines on the walls are the mirrors. The red box is the big mirror, and then the yellow doors are the first story, or the yellow line is the first story doors, and the actual door icon is the second story doors.
Got it.
I just want to make sure.
I have a
that's cool.
fun feeling not to go near all those fucking mirrors.
Oh, those are mirrors. I'll move here. And then I'm gonna try to use this wolf hunt thing.
Okay.
New thing that we got.
Go ahead and roll for it. I think it's a 1 through 10. There you go. You got it. Roll for damage.
I just have written down that it does 30 damage.
Oh,
I don't know.
There you go. Yeah.
If I messed up.
No, you did it right. So you shoot a blue wolf comes out of your hand and hits her as she's crawling out of the mirror and smacks her, like does the damage that it's supposed to be doing.
How many times can I do that?
You can do it every turn. It's a minor action. So your turn's over because you use 2 minor actions.
Hot damn.
But yeah,
Minor action, damn.
as long as you get you could do that before your major action as an attack, or whatever. So after she like gets completely out of the mirror, and after you hit her, you're obviously not stealthed anymore. So she turns, and is
Oh boy.
is going to attack you, my friend. Let's see what. Oof, not a good. Oh, you've got to be serious.
What?
That's gonna be 4 damage.
That was really close to being really bad.
Yeah. That was,
Oofy ouchies.
There was a very high chance of that just nuking your ass.
it was a butt clench moment, definitely.
And then Maddie, it's your turn.
No.
I do want to touch on the subject. I think I told you this, Maddie. We had the wrong level 2 for your character, and so your new level 2, I believe it's a trap card where you can place a trap on the ground. If they walk over it, they take damage.
Oh, okay.
I can pull those actual notes up for you.
If you would.
Yeah, because I do have the guidebook open on my computer. You're a rose, correct?
That is correct. Normally I play with the guidebook up, and the one day I don't is, of course.
Oh no, yeah. So you thought you had double lashings, and your actual level 2 is explosion card. It is a major action, and you get fire aspect to 3 spaces, which fire aspect is 30 damage. So you can pretty much do 30 damage to 3 spaces of an area. 1 through 10 is a casting roll. KKK. And now it is
Indeed.
your
Yes, I
turn.
have myself muted because my keyboard is loud.
No problem.
Is that my turn?
Nope, it's Maddie's still.
Still her turn.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright. So basic attack is a minor action, right?
No, basic attack is your major. Minor would be the small spells and stuff you get.
So is explosion card a major? Or
It
minor?
is a
I'm sorry.
major action.
Alright, well I can't. It does damage to teammates, right?
It can, yeah. But you can tell me where the 3 spaces are.
Alright. So I'm gonna back up here.
It has to be. Does it have to be 3 separate spaces?
No, connecting.
Okay.
She throws a card and like kind of with her hand can guide the explosion to where it goes.
Okay, no,
Got it.
I can't hit her without hitting both of my teammates, so I'm just gonna basic attack her.
Okay.
Oh, I did get it. And 18 times 2, whatever that damage is.
Good stuff. That would be, what, 36, right? I did that math right?
Sure.
Sure, maybe. It's anyone's guess.
Close the fuck enough.
Yeah, and with with this creature on all fours charging Ram and kind of slashing at him, just nicking him just a tiny bit, and then Siri flying behind her and throwing a card to hit her right in the back for a good damage. We're going to stop our episode and finish this combat next time.
Gross, the missiest of the misses.
Senor, I know Ricky has to
We're
head
leaving
out.
you on the floor for dead for next week.
I know Ricky has to head out, so you can head out,
Obama
my sir.
Yeah, I gotta go pick Jackie up too.
Alrighty, you all can leave, and I will do my outro here.
Have a good one. And
You
gals.
too, thank you.
Hello.
I'll be here for the outro.
Okay,
I'm gonna be the star of the show.
there you
Hello.
go.
It's just me.
The dungeon master has left. It is now Maddie time.
Oh, I
Hello.
was gonna move you to for chat, but I don't have the power to do that.
Now let me talk about all of Team Fighter Tactics. Let me give you all.
Let me tell you about League. A game, I don't know if you know, has just reached its 10th anniversary, and I just started playing it. It's pretty great. I play only support characters.
That's the way you should play. That's any MOBA I've ever played. I've played a support.
And Caitlyn. I also like Caitlyn.
But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Sorry about the week delay, but you know the holidays got to us as well.
We work service jobs.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
they
you
are very
you heard in the
demanding.
beginning, 3 of us work at a restaurant, so if you want to follow us, go on to our Twitter at LoreWarsRPG. From there, you can on that profile of my Twitter account, I have the website. You can go on and check out the website. Once we are done streaming on our Twitch, usually Thursday nights, I upload it onto YouTube, and from there I upload it to all of the podcast sites that you could ever want, such as Anchor, Castbox, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. So definitely go there, do those things. The best way to support us right now is just to follow, leave a review, leave a like. Just help us get our numbers high, so it reaches more people in the algorithms of those sites. And yeah, we're back on track and continue to release content. Maddie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Celestial Spell Cosplay, and coming up, starting, what's the month after? February, I'm going to be starting, it's going to be actual cosplay, and I'm starting with the new Dawnbringer Karma skin from League.
Very nice.
And my brother's helping me make all of the glowing bits, because he's good at things.
Are you gonna
But I need money before I can start it.
Are you gonna release pictures of you making the costume or just the end result?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
So that'll be all, my whole process will be up on my Instagram, as we're also working on turning my mom's office into my cosplay office, my cos office, if you will. And I will be posting pictures as we do that and rip out carpet and stuff.
Very cool. Alrighty, well, thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.